Hey guys, so the interview is going to start in a moment. So right now, as always, I'm going to do the technical setup. Facebook. I need to make sure that everything is good before I start. And let's see. Give me a moment, yeah. Guys, so the Okay, I think we're good to go. All right. Welcome to another session of Insights with Dean Shams. And today I have a really special guest all the way from Okay, she's Bangladeshi, but she actually lives in Sydney. Now, I want to ask you guys, how many of you watching now suffers from overthinking? You're always asking, oh, what if this, what if that happens? Should I do this? Should I do that? And you're always thinking, and these thoughts are always going round and round, round in your mind. And what you do realize, I'm sure, is that you are not moving forward. And I know this so well because I suffered from it for a long, long time. And I wanted everything to be perfect. So now I found Ayesha, all the way from Bangladesh. And I'm so happy this is a pet topic and she is an expert in this. So let's bring her on in the studio. Hi, Ayesha.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. All right. So, Aisha, I'm so happy to have you here. You're coming all the way from Sydney, but you lived most of your life, or like since up to 2015, right? You were in Bangladesh. So, I love the fact that I bring people from different countries, especially Asian countries, because I really want to hear the different voices, from your culture. So, even though the topics may be quite relatable to most people. But I want to hear what's your thoughts from your culture and how you have lived it, right? So uh, let's start. Let's start. Okay. So Aisha is she is the lady who brings leaders from adversity to advantage and ambition. She's an author, speaker, facilitator, and also a thought leader. And she has written a book called Mind Speed, which is in large part is about overthinking, isn't it, Aisha?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So let's very quickly get onto the conversation, right? Okay. So I know based on our conversation before, you have worked with a lot of leaders and people who aspire to be more, right? Like me and like a lot of my friends, right? So there must be a portion of them who, despite their best effort, stay stuck because of overthinking. So, what are some of the issues you see? Like, it's a recurring issue among all these people who tend to overthink.
Thank you for your question and thank you for bringing me in your platform. I'll say it's a very interesting part for me. The way you started, like staying in a zone of overthinking, that was my zone, honestly, and
Okay.
for a long period of time. And now I'm smiling because I know how it feels like to stay in the zone. And once you come out of that and you see that, oh, that was a place I used to be. And that fascinated me to apply the neuroscience and some of the insight into me and the people with whom I did the coaching sessions and I delivered, I gave a lectures, etc. So the most common question I receive that they see overthinking not as overthinking, right?
Oh, okay.
Comes with different ways. It comes sometimes they say that actually I have to do these. That's the reason why I cannot do that.
Mm.
So they have got a list of excuses. They say like my parents don't like me to do these, my partner don't allow me to do that, how about my children, can I do this, how my son will feel, my daughter will feel,
So they
how.
always have some kind of reason, right? A very compelling reason for them to not move ahead.
Yeah, the excuses are always there. So if I look at the whole picture, then I see that excuses are looking outside. It's not looking inside. You are not looking from you to outside. You are looking
mm,
outside, and you're trying to fit in outside as per the expectation of other people, or the society, or the
mm,
norm, or the family, the way the family expect from you. So you are trying to fit in with everything, and you are not able to take that lead, right? To start from your age, like not taking a step one step forward
mm,
to get out of that zone. So yeah, that's the place. And I shouldn't say that it's possible to stop, and I shouldn't say that we all need to stop overthinking. But we need to be conscious. We need to be conscious. We need to understand, be mindful that, yeah, this is the point I'm thinking quite extensively. So I shouldn't do that, right? It's
mm,
for me. So that's my one point at this moment.
mm. But do we get into a spiral? Because you're saying that we need to be conscious, but a lot of times we don't realize it's very unconscious, and we go into spiral, and it's a never-ending loop, and you're going down. So how do I know that I'm actually overthinking? Is there some things or some factors that I can look out for, and I know, okay, I'm overthinking. I need to do something else. I need to snap out of this. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, of course. I will give some idea, but I like the word you said, the spiral, right? So I will not claim that I am stopping my whole overthinking and every situation. No, it's not. It will come back, but
Mm,
we have to remind myself. And it's not like I have to remind by being conscious and being serious, but
mm,
rather I have to be mindful. Okay, this is the current scenario, and this is the situation around me, and it is the fact. So what can I do
mm,
in that reality?
mm,
Thinking of, wow, why that situation was that bad for me, like last 1 month
mm,
before, 1 day before, 5 years before, 10 years before. So not reminding yourself on those memories. So you are, it's very normal because we have a brain and we have a memory. And if you have good memories, and that long term memories are emotional memory, because
mm,
we are very deeply emotionally attached with those memory. So
mm,
it's very normal that we will have a travel, very quick travel back to those long term memory,
mm,
and
mm,
then we feel that those feeling,
mm.
which may be a good one or maybe a bad one. So I'm not saying overthinking always a bad kind of memory.
That's a very
Sometimes,
good point, because sometimes the overthinking came from a good source, right? A good
yeah,
experience. Yeah. Carry on, please.
yeah. So yeah, that's yeah. I'll come back to the point. Just one more thing I want to make in here. That's going back to the memory, but being conscious that that memory was giving me that learning, and that's the reason why I am doing something differently today.
Mm,
Have to that, like, we don't have to detach totally ourselves from that bad memory, but we can say that, yes, I own that memory, that's my story, that's my past. I learned that thing from there, and that's why I can move differently from now. So
mm,
having this conversation with yourself helps you a lot to keep yourself out over the overthinking. So you are not overthinking on the same thought, same feeling. Rather, you are taking the learning and applying it in a different way. You are guiding, you are driving your thought to utilize in a different way, right? Not in a
mm,
spiral of a same thought.
mm. So there are obviously people who don't suffer from this, right? There are people, maybe I would term them risk takers, aggressive movers, or first movers, and they always get the first movers advantage. And then there are people like me, and a lot of other people who overthink, and then we see them going past us. So I want to know, based on all your experience working with leaders and helping people to get to the ambitions that they are looking forward to, what's the difference between those who don't overthink and those who overthink? What
In,
makes
in
those aggressive movers that way?
Yeah, I feel that to whom I had been working and observing a couple of very established thought leaders in
Mm,
Australia, I've been mentored by them. So I felt like they don't wait for being the best. They don't
mm,
wait for anything.
mm,
It's just one way. I have the idea, I have to apply this. So there
mm,
is nothing in between that is it a good idea? How about if I'm failing with that idea? So
mm,
they answer to this after. If they implement it and they see that they are failing, then they take a different track. But they
mm,
don't wait to implement. So just start from the idea to implementation. So as soon as
mm,
we implement, then that less time we spend in making it perfect, making it look better, making it
mm,
better than before, making
mm,
yourself getting ready to
mm.
apply it. So these are the time once you are actually overthinking and you excuse by saying, I'm actually trying to make it better. I'm actually trying to make myself ready.
So you're saying that we should just go for it, like what Nike says, right? Just do it, right?
That's
That
the way.
would, yeah, that implies that we need to have certain sense of safety psychologically, right? That if we do this without total preparation, it's going to be okay, isn't it? Right?
Mhm.
So it's going to be okay. And I must share my own experience. So I used to have this overthinking, right? And I don't do a lot of things because I want it to be perfect. Then I learned that a lot of people who achieved a lot of things, they started off not being perfect. And it's the imperfection that allows them to become better and better. Because
Right.
if you launch at perfection, probably the needs and wants of your audience would have moved on by then, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And this interview series that I've been doing for 11 weeks now, so you are my 11th guest. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. It actually started like that. So I said like, you know what, since we are on lockdown, why not do something? So I just did it, and I was told about StreamYard, and I just went with it, and it's been good, and I've slowly improved. I've learned there are a lot of things that I need to work on Facebook and StreamYard, and then it just slowly improves. And I think what you have said is absolutely right. So tell me one thing is male and female brains. So we know that the male and female adult brains are wired differently. So in my research for this interview, I came across a line. They say females tend to overthink more than males. So now I'm not agreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I want a female brain like yours to answer that question.
Um, honestly, depends on how that female was grew up. Because I can, if you want to put myself as an example, then I will see myself in my country before
Mm,
2015, and in Australia is totally different. Because
mm,
it is not different just over a night's sleep, but it has to be different over 5 years of work on me, right?
mm,
Because the social structure, the social expectation,
mm,
the social way of seeing women's responsibility and men's responsibility toward the family, toward people, toward kids, toward in the job. So it's totally different. And I remember once we grow up, then we hear that these are the things you cannot do. You shouldn't do these. You shouldn't go there. You shouldn't stay late at outside or
mm.
stay outside after evening. So there are a lot of no's we have to hear more often for the
Mm.
women. And then women
Ah, okay.
concerned that can I do this? So they also have that question wherever they goes inside a corporation, whatever the position they take, they still have that programming inside of their brain that can I do this? Am I allowed to do this? Do I need to get someone's permission,
Mm.
directly, indirectly, to who can give me some approval that yes, I am allowed to do this?
So what you're
So
saying is social construct has made women overthink. It is not natural. They don't have to do it, but because they grew up with a lot of rules, do's and don'ts, especially for women. I remember, like, yeah, women, my sisters couldn't stay out late, but I could because I'm a guy. So is it fair or not? It's just social construct, right?
It
Very, very
absolutely,
interesting.
and which is the social construction of Eastern country. In Western
Mm,
country, if you're seeing Australia, women's are much, I mean, I will say they are even much better than men's. Men
mm,
are sometimes laid behind in Australian society, but women's are get going and fast moving. So I'm like, okay, learn it and try to adapt with that.
mm,
Otherwise, you cannot adapt with that society. And I
mm,
have the challenge. So for the women, I don't see that all women from all organization they are having this sort of overthinking mindset. Some organizations they work in there and the culture make them to perform proactively, so which is a very good sign that women's are taking lead, women's are being proactive to take a decision, taking a the first row of the boardroom. So they are doing very good things around the society. But at the same time, I will say women also have a magic of their mind, that they're intuitive. They have a sense inside of them that they can feel if there is something wrong, right?
I totally agree with you because the intuitive aspect of women, the female mind or the female consciousness, is so much more powerful. I believe that it came from evolutionary because they have to take care of their
Children.
offspring, their kids, their children, right? So,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
that's also important that women can do some bit of extra multitasking comparing to the men. And
Mm,
which is essential because we have to manage family, work, kids, everything.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Mm, mm, mm.
the way women's brain get stuck with the overthinking with multitasking is not the
Mm,
same if you think about a man. A
mm,
man can do one thing at a time, but
mm,
they can't focus more than one thing at a time, and it will not be a quality thing. But women, they do have some age over men on multitasking. But I will also suggest women to pick the multitasking in a wise way so that you don't get exhausted, not putting all the energy in doing everything because you can do it, and then you get exhausted and you get stressed and anxious, and which is
mm,
not for your health, mental health and
mm,
physical
mm,
health as
mm,
well.
mm. That's, I think you made such a very wonderful comment on this. Yes, I think that's why it is right to say that the male and female brains are wired differently. And I think the female brain, I'm not a scientist, but I can say that the female brain is wired more intricately than the male because we
Mhm.
tend to be very, males tend to be very one track mind, right? So I don't know, guys, friends, if do you agree that the female brain is wired in a more intricate way and makes it more able to adapt faster and adapt to different situations. But then again, like what Aisha said, because of the social construct, females also tend to or been moved into thinking more overthinking, and it becomes a habit, right, Aisha?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and one more point that I want to make: the women have a feeling, like emotional part of their brain,
that's
which is
right.
high,
Yeah.
and there might be some areas of improvement or collaboration between men and women, that a man can decide a logical decision very
Mm,
strictly and very specifically, then women can say that you can say in that way to him or her, so he or she doesn't feel bad. So that emotional and logical head and heart comes together if we can make a blend of men and women in our workplace.
so it's not a matter of whose brain is better, but it is a complementary, right? Coming together and making a better whole, right? Okay, so now there are different types of thinking. Like I want to do self-reflection, I want to do problem solving. So this also puts our brain into overdrive. It can, right? But
Mhm.
not all of them are bad. They are not all overthinking because sometimes self-reflection and problem solving does need to have a lot of deep thinking. So,
True.
uh, how do I know that as I'm doing self-reflection or problem solving a problem, I have unconsciously slipped into the spiral of overthinking?
Okay,
Is
so
there any
first,
way to know? Yeah.
absolutely. So the first thing that I want to share with you is a very good point, and it's a very essential. If you think that you have to grow over the time, if you think that I want to do something more
Mm,
than what I am, so if
mm,
even if you're earning money, if you're doing a good job, if you're even if you're in a stable financial situation, but as a human, we have a feeling of finding a meaning of what I am doing, what is the contribution that I'm leaving
mm,
behind to the family, to the society, to the world. So from that perspective, if I want to do something more, then I feel like, oh, that means I have to give more time, I have to put more effort. But you'll not feel that you are giving more time or you are putting more effort. You'll not feel exhausted if you find that it's something you like.
that is
It's
gold. That is gold. You made a very golden point here. You know the difference between overthinking and deep thinking
yeah,
by the energy, right? So when you overthink, it's exhausting, but if it's deep thinking, you can keep going, right?
getting
Wow.
lost to what I love to do, right? Like that's a magic journey that I love being in this place. I love working with this thing that I'm working on now. So that's a huge difference. Yeah.
Mm, awesome. Okay, so now let's say you are now faced with someone who is overthinking. This could be your coaching client or someone you want to help. How can we overcome the habit of overthinking? Is there a process? How can I progress? Because I definitely cannot like be a overthinker today and then uh, an aggressive mover tomorrow. I don't know. I don't think that's possible. So could you guide us along from overthinking to uh, more?
Okay.
I don't know what's the opposite of overthinking.
So first of all, yeah, overthinking will not allow you to take a quality decision. It will not allow you to think in a fresh mind or in a new perspective. You will not have a broad focus. You will have a very narrow focus and think, okay, this is the limit and this is how I can do it. If you cannot do it and you'll do in the same way again and again, it will not give any results that you're expecting, right? So what I will suggest in here, just start practicing being mindful, being present.
Mm,
So this is the current scenario and this is what I want to do, and I just come back to your present more often.
mm,
So the more you will be having that presence of your time, your situation. Now we are having a conversation, me and you. I can think like, how do I look like? Am I looking at my camera? I'm not looking at my camera. I'm mostly
mm,
looking at you because
mm,
I feel
mm,
that that's how I can make a connection between
mm,
us. This is I'm talking to a human. So I believe that the conversation can make a value to those who are listening, but
mm,
to me, I don't need to be conscious about what other people are thinking. I need to make a best delivery throughout my thoughts, my
mm,
things, my feeling. So the trying to be present makes the job done. Like trying to
mm,
be present, be mindful, and it's very difficult. It sounds very easy and it's very difficult, and we cannot stay with that mindful and being present, and we get highly disrupted. Someone
yeah.
is calling, I get notification, the mails are coming, someone is asking for something in urgent basis, so a lot of things we have to do.
Mm,
But the trick is you need to understand what is the thing that I want to do today. Like, what is the most important thing that I want to do today? So, if it is 1 hour job, 2 hour job, so I have to block the time. I have to block all the notification for this 2 hour time so that I can have my deep thinking, so that I can
mm,
stop overthinking consciously.
mm,
You just need to be aware that this is what I want to do, and this is my time, and I will enjoy doing it, and play some music, some soft music, listen to it, enjoy doing what you're doing, not being rushed into, I have to finish it by 1 hour. Oh, I didn't reply to that mail. If you're doing
mm,
something, you don't have to think about the mail. You don't. It will not
mm,
change for the
mm,
mail, but it will change what you're doing. It will. interrupt with the quality of the job that you're currently doing.
Mm. Seems like we suffer from, oh, I need to respond. I need to respond to the email. I need to respond to the messages that's coming in my phone now. It's always now, 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 now. And you never give the now to yourself, it seems, right? You're always giving the now to someone else, something else. It could be your kids, could be your colleagues calling. It's crazy. And you made a really good point to cut off the rest of the world and then go into deep thinking. And I know from what you said just now, I know that I'm doing deep thinking if it is a positive experience. It's like I'm energized by it. But if I feel like my energy is drained, I know that I've slipped into overthinking, right?
True. And I feel that being a mom as well, many people can ask, I'm a mom, I'm working from home, and I've got a lot of things to do, and people are interrupting me. How can I make this 2 hours only for me? Okay, fine, you don't have to. You can make half an hour time. Let people know that you are giving this half an hour for something very important.
Mm.
Make an
And you
arrangement.
you are important, right? Like I'm important for me, right? So that I can be the better person for everyone else.
You have to prioritize yourself. Once you are equipped with your presence, with your mental well-being, stopping your overthinking, then you can give more to the people around you. You can
Absolutely.
serve better, right?
Okay. So I want to talk a bit about I want to know a bit about your book Mind Speed, right? Yes.
Mhm.
Share with us what is it about?
Okay, so first of all, I will say Frederick Heron has been my mentor in my speaking. I know you know Frederick in Singapore.
It's based in Singapore, yeah.
Yes. So I met him in Singapore. Then I had a mentoring session with him. So in our conversation, he made a comment that you are talking everything about speed of mind. I said, yeah, that's right. That's true. And that's the word. And then I tried to dig deep dive and work on everything. I captured my information. I was capturing for three years with a lot of insight I get from my clients and from me. And then I thought, okay, I have to get the speed so quicker, and so that I can get rid of the off in between. So that may cause you some overthinking, the mind off speed. So I get rid of the off and then mix together. That becomes mind
Brilliant
speed.
name. Brilliant
And
name, yeah.
the intention is people often get stuck with the present. Oh, I don't have anything to do. What people will not allow me to do. The process is not allowing me to do. So all these complaints, blaming,
Mm,
so excuses comes once we are very much stuck with the outcome, the expectation, the people around me, the expectation from family, boss, managers, organization, everything. Like it's not
mm,
only personal, it can be also professional. So
mm,
how do I help people to get away from that sort of thinking and be more open? How do I help them to have the practice of growth mindset so that they can be more agile? They can think and decide quickly and take a lead on the particular decision they're taking. And
mm.
they own the decision. It's not a decision they're taking and then applying it. They have to own the decision. There must be some reason behind why they own the decision. And there must be some positive emotional attachment and getting rid of some negative emotional attachment.
Can you
And
can you can I just interrupt here? And you mentioned a very interesting point. Own the decision. What does that mean? Could you expand a bit on that?
yeah, sure. So more will be covered in my book, but the
Okay.
basic part I say, if I don't have a decision that's aligned with my value, my purpose, and my long-term
Mm,
expectation from me,
mm,
then over the time I will try to adjust, I will try to manage, I will try to remain functional, but I will
mm.
not be able to own the decision.
That's right.
Somehow I feel that regret that why I'm taking it, and that will have a negative emotion. That is the reason why we're stressed, that is the reason why we're anxious, we're
Mm.
overthinking, we're overwhelmed, we're taking long time, we're not finishing what we want to do on time. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So, friends, if you want to know more about the book and what Aisha does, so you can go to www.aishabibha.com, right?
Absolutely.
It's been a wonderful conversation, Aisha. Thank you so much for agreeing to this. And I'm sure you have inspired a lot of people and educated a lot of people who watch. So, friends, if you find this really useful, I think it's amazing. Please share it on your wall or please share it in a message because people need to stop overthinking and start achieving more. Aisha, last words before we say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yes,
Alright.
we know that we have a lot of things to do, but if I say right at this moment, beyond everything, we can do only one thing, practicing some good habit to manage our mind. And
Mm,
this is the right time because we have been given some time to ourselves, close to our family, close to our people. So start doing practicing positive mindfulness, presence, some mind exercise that will help you to be productive, feeling less exhausted,
mm.
and enjoying your life and having the meaning of your life that you're doing.
So, with that, wise words from Aisha, friends, thank you for watching and have a good day ahead. Bye.
Thank you.